Stop! You haven't subscribed to the channel yet? Subscribe now! We have new stories every day. Now let's go! I got married to my girlfriend after a wild college party. You can probably guess how it happened. We'd only known each other for a month, and the night we decided to attend my rich friend's mansion party changed everything. He had one of those extravagant houses with a pool, fancy lights, and more alcohol than the average bar. We were young, reckless, and invincible, or so we thought. That night, my girlfriend, let's call her Eva, ended up pregnant. Oh God, I thought. I mean, we had barely gotten to know each other. She was just the pretty girl from psychology class, and I was the guy who managed to make her laugh at some awful joke about Freud. We talked, weighed our options, and ultimately, I made the decision. I would be a husband, a father, even if I had no idea what that really meant. I wanted to be responsible. I wanted to do the right thing. Eva and I got married a month later, with her barely showing and our friends and family trying to be supportive in the midst of obvious shock. It wasn't a grand love story. It was two kids who were thrown into adulthood, trying to do what they thought they should. 5 years later, here we are. Our son, Noah, is 5 years old now, and he's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I love that kid more than anything. Ava and I? Well, we're doing our best. We've been making it work. At least, that's what I thought. A few weeks ago, Ava came to me and said she was tired. Tired of everything, of being a mom, of being a wife, of not having a real youth. She said she never had the chance to live, and now it was weighing on her. I try to understand. I wanted to be supportive. I worked long hours and I knew she was often left alone with Noah. I tried to help however I could, took on chores, spent as much time with Noah as possible, make sure she had some space for herself. But it never seemed to be enough. Then, Ava told me she needed a break, a real break. She wanted to go on a trip with her best friend. Just a week, she said, to relax, to find myself again. I didn't argue. I wanted her to be happy, to feel like herself again. I thought if she got this out of her system, things would be better for all of us. One evening, as she was packing, I tried to lighten the mood. Don't forget to bring back some of those tacky souvenirs. You know, the ones that say, I love Cancun in neon colors. Noah would love it. She forced a smile, but her eyes were distant. Of course, she said softly, zipping up her suitcase. So I stayed home with Noah, playing the role of a single dad for the week while Ava went off to Cancun. But things felt off from the beginning. Ava barely texted me. When I called, she sounded distant, distracted. Her friend wasn't much help either. Her responses were vague, curt. It wasn't until Ava came back that I really started to worry. She walked through the door, all smiles, a tan that made her glow. She seemed different, but not in the way I'd hoped. There was something else in energy, a lightness. At first, I was hopeful. Maybe she really did find what she needed. Maybe we were going to be okay. A few days after her return, we sat in the kitchen. I was making coffee while she scrolled on her phone. I glanced over and tried to make conversation. So, did you get to do all the touristy stuff? Snorkeling, tequila shots, dancing on the beach? Ava hesitated before responding. Yeah, we did a bit of everything, she said, her tone clipped. 3 months later, everything unraveled. Ava seemed more distant than ever, and something gnawed at the back of my mind. I couldn't shake it. One night, after Noah had gone to bed, I confronted her. She was sitting on the couch, flipping through TV channels without really watching. Ava, I began, my voice shaking slightly. Are you pregnant? Her hand froze on the remote. She turned to me, her eyes wide, and tears began to pool almost instantly. She didn't have to say anything. I already knew. But I asked the question that haunted me, the one I needed to hear out loud. Is it mine? I whispered. Ava broke down, sobbing, and I had my answer. She told me she'd met someone in Cancun, some guy who made her feel alive again. I couldn't believe it. How could she be so careless? Not just with me, but with Noah, with everything we had built, no matter how imperfect it was. I looked at her, tears streaming down her face, and I felt nothing but emptiness. Do you think this guy is going to stick around just because you're having his baby? I asked, my voice hollow. She shook her head, unable to speak. I realized then that Ava wasn't the person I thought she was. Maybe she never had been. Maybe we were both just two scared kids who jumped into something way over our heads. We sat there in silence, the weight of her confession hanging between us. Finally, she whispered, I didn't mean for it to happen. I was just lost. I sighed, running a hand through my hair. We were both lost, Ava, but you made a choice that affects all of us. What do you want now? She looked up at me, her eyes red. I want to keep the baby. I know it sounds insane, but I want to try. With him. He said he'd be there for me. I couldn't help but laugh bitterly. You really think this guy you met on vacation is going to be your knight in shining armor? Ava's lips trembled. I don't know. But I have to try. I can't keep pretending everything is okay. I nodded, a strange calm washing over me. Then I guess this is it. I'll file for divorce. I'll leave a full custody of Noah. He needs stability, and I don't think I can give that to him right now. Ava looked at me shocked. You're leaving Noah? No, I said softly. I'm letting you have him because I think that's what's best for him. I won't abandon him. I'll still beat his dad, but he needs one stable home. And you want to make this work with whoever this guy is. So I'm stepping aside. The next few weeks were a blur of paperwork, lawyers, and difficult conversations. We explained it to Noah as best we could. He was too young to understand, but he knew something was wrong. He clung to me when I dropped him off at Ava's new apartment, crying, "Daddy, don't go." I knelt in front of him, my heart breaking. "Hey, buddy, I'm not going anywhere. I'll see you all the time, okay? You and Mommy are just going to have a new place to live." He sniffled, nodding, and I hugged him tightly before finally leaving. I drove away, the weight of what happened pressing down on me. The guy from Cancun, as it turned out, wasn't a complete dirtbag. He moved in with Ava, helped take care of her, and eventually the baby. I didn't care much for the details. All that mattered was that Noah was safe and that Ava had someone by her side. I haven't let go of the idea that I could be the hero, that I could fix everything. I knew I couldn't. A few months later, I found myself sitting in a bar, nursing a drink, when a stranger sat down beside me. She had kind eyes and a gentle smile. We started talking, and for the first time in what felt like forever, I felt a flicker of hope. Maybe there was a future for me beyond all of this heartish. Maybe I could start over. As for me, I'm trying to start over. It's strange being on my own again, living in a small apartment that barely feels like home. There are nights I wonder if I'm making a mistake, if leaving Noah with Ava was the right thing to do. But then I remind myself that he's happy, and that's all that matters. I'm not proud of how things ended, but I'm trying to learn from it. Maybe one day I'll find someone who I can build a real life with, someone who will love me without reservations, without regrets. Until then, I'm just taking it day by day, trying to figure out what it means to be me again. And that's my story, folks. It's messy, complicated, and probably not all that uncommon, but it's mine and I'm doing my best to make peace with it.